modern-day California and Florida, down to Chile and Argentina, with the exception of Brazil. In Asia, Spain held the Philippines. In Africa, Spain controlled coastal territories in North Africa. But territory was not Spain's real power. Silver was. The conquest of the Aztec Empire in 1521 and the Inca Empire in 1533 had given Spain access to the accumulated gold and silver of two advanced civilizations. But even more valuable were the mines. In 1545, Spanish conquistadors discovered the Cerro Rico mountain in Potosi, in modern-day Bolivia. This was the richest silver deposit ever found. Cerro Rico alone would produce 60% of all the silver mined in the world for the next 100 years. By 1550, Spanish ships were bringing approximately 300 tons of silver per year across the Atlantic to Seville. To put that in perspective, 300 tons of silver in 1550 was worth approximately 150 million pesos. The entire annual revenue of the Spanish crown from taxation in Spain itself was only about 6 million pesos. The silver from the New World was 25 times larger than Spain's domestic tax base. Spain had effectively won the lottery. It had discovered an unlimited supply of money. The silver funded the Spanish military, the most powerful in Europe. Spanish tercios, professional infantry formations using pikes and arquebuses, were undefeated on European battlefields for over 100 years. The Spanish Navy controlled the seas. The Spanish crown could afford to fight wars on multiple fronts because it had unlimited silver to pay soldiers and build ships. The silver also made Spain the financial center of Europe. Bankers from Genoa, Augsburg, and Antwerp flocked to Seville and Madrid. They lent money to the Spanish crown at low interest rates because everyone believed Spain's silver guaranteed repayment. Spanish debt was considered the safest investment in Europe. If you were a wealthy banker in 1550 and you wanted a secure return, you lent money to Spain. Spain looked invincible, but the silver was destroying the Spanish economy from within, and nobody saw it coming. Stage one of the collapse was inflation caused by the silver flood. This is the period from 1550 to 1600. During this 50-year period, Spain imported approximately 17,000 tons of silver from the New World. That is an almost incomprehensible amount of precious metal flooding into a single economy. And it created a problem that Spanish rulers did not understand: inflation. Here's how it worked. Before the silver arrived, the Spanish economy operated with a relatively stable money supply. Prices were predictable. A loaf of bread cost a certain amount. A day's wages for a laborer was a fixed sum. But when 17,000 tons of silver entered the economy, suddenly there was far more money circulating. People had more coins in their pockets, but the supply of goods, bread, cloth, livestock, houses had not increased. When you have more money chasing the same amount of goods, prices rise. This is inflation. From 1550 to 1600, prices in Spain increased by approximately 400%. A commodity that cost 1 peso in 1550 cost 4 pesos in 1600. This was catastrophic for anyone on a fixed income, which included most of the Spanish population. Laborers, soldiers, and government officials found that their wages bought less and less every year. The Spanish economy was being hollowed out by the very silver that was supposed to make it wealthy. But the inflation didn't stay in Spain. The silver flowed outward to pay for Spanish imports and military expenses. Spain itself did not produce much. Spanish agriculture was underdeveloped. Spanish manufacturing was limited. Spain imported grain from Sicily, wool from England, textiles from the Netherlands, weapons from Germany, and Spain paid for all of these imports with silver. The silver left Spain and spread across Europe, causing inflation in every country it touched. By 1600, prices across Europe had roughly doubled because of the Spanish silver influx. This created a problem for Spain. Spanish goods became expensive relative to goods produced elsewhere. Spanish manufacturers could not compete with cheaper products from the Netherlands or England. Spain's economy became dependent on imports, which drained more silver. It was a vicious cycle. The more silver Spain received, the less competitive Spanish industry became. At the same time, Spanish rulers were spending silver on wars. Lots of wars. Spain was fighting to maintain its empire in Europe, to suppress Protestant revolts in the Netherlands, to defend against Ottoman expansion in the Mediterranean, and to support Catholic forces in the French Wars of Religion. King Philip II, who ruled from 1556 to 1598, was constantly at war. And wars are expensive. Military campaigns required silver to pay soldiers, to build ships, to manufacture gunpowder and cannons, to transport supplies. The cost was enormous. During Philip II's reign, military expenses consumed approximately 75% of the Spanish crown's total revenue. 3/4 of every peso that came into the royal treasury went immediately